Guys, tell me why this won't be the lowest West Coast crowd of the year.
Oh, St Kilda West Coast on Sunday, 240.
Yeah.
Because I think West Coast fans believe this is a winnable game.
There's some hope.
Yep. There's a chance.
So it could be a decent crowd, and somewhere around three-quarter time they'll decide if it still remains decent.
Correct. Andrew McWalter, if you are listening to this show, or anyone who is connected.
Loves it.
Anyone who is connected to West Coast, please play 2 defensive players on Sinclair and Wanganeen Miller. That's it. I don't care. Don't care how many goals you kick. I don't care. Do not play it. Just play 2 blokes on them 24/7.
Yep.
Don't say, we've got to be positive. We've got to try and win. Just go and get 2 scraggers, annoyers, taggers. I don't care
Ruben
who.
Jimby go with Wanganeen Miller from halfback?
But he's the extra tall down back, mate.
Yeah, I know.
While they don't have McGovern, he's got to play back. They've just got to find 2 blokes who their job is purely to stop the run.
Do you put in Tom Gross? Would you just let him be free?
Just let him be free and get caught holding the ball, running into an open goal.
Mate, it was tough. There was obviously no talk. Cripper said yesterday there was talk.
So that's just my message. And I do think the crowd won't look. It won't be huge. And Sunday afternoon there is sport on, and I don't know what the weather's going to be. But judging by the current weather, it's going to be sunny.
You know, the country travellers, the country supporters, that sort of thing. You know, I went jazz hands just then. I'm not sure why. Hey, tell me, can I ask you another one?
Yeah, of course. Go ahead.
Tell me why it seems like AFL House has a different fire to put out every week. Are they on the same page? Inside there?
There's an issue there. There is an issue there. Andrew Dillon, Laura Kane, Josh Marnie. I just look and I think they're in. It's a powerful enterprise, but I don't know. There's a bit of buck passing always going on. They're always They've handled some really big issues in a really difficult time for football. I'm not saying I can do any better.
No, we're not saying that. But it just doesn't seem to be they don't seem to be rowing in the same direction all the time with all of their stakeholders, do they?
No, and so for those who have woken up this morning, the whole Lachie Schultz thing is really so it's been unearthed. Channel 7 have the vision of the audio of the umpires in the Lachie Schultz game. Mm-hmm. We'll play that to you now. Have a listen.
Yep. The injured player in the middle.
Yep.
I'm watching. Let go.
You.
Still me. Have we looking?
We're okay.
You try to understand?
You watch. Oh. It's okay. What do you think, Craig?
It's okay. It's okay. That's that is where he goes, tries to get up and goes to his knees.
Simon Emeritus, 500 games. Craig Flair, 2 grand finals and almost 300 games. Martin Rogers in about his 3rd year. And Justin Powers, a West Australian umpire. He's done about 100-odd games.
Where's the common sense?
Yeah. And calling the game then on that day, you were calling the game alongside me. I was calling the game. I didn't even know Jamie Elliott had a shot for goal.
100% with you.
Because I was too busy looking at that thinking the game had been stopped.
I have no idea. I got confused because I assumed it was stopped, and I just don't understand the common sense. They do go on to say we haven't been instructed to stop the game. I will have some common sense. Fair dinkum. There's a guy in the middle of the ground who tried to get to his feet and collapsed. It was horrible watching. And as soon as he got hit, he was stiff arm in the middle, wasn't he? His arms were up, dead sign that he was in all sorts of trouble. When he was coming off the ground, I was so focused on him, because I assumed it was done and the play was stopped, that I heard booing, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. I just said on air, I said, if you are booing Lachie Schultz right now, then you're the lowest person on the planet. And then you hear a roar down the Collingwood end, and Jamie's going to kick the goal. I went, hang on, they were booing the set shot. I assumed it was being held.
So Laura Kane, they put out a statement to say the umpires have no recollection of the incident, yet there's the umpires saying that they did. So, look, it's...
They crapped on her. And
she's crapped on them.
She crapped back on them.
Yeah, and it's not good. Now, I'm going to say, so those umpires purely should be dropped, right? But they have no depth in the umpiring ranks.
So they should be dropped for not stopping the player 100%. There?
Concussion.
Oh, well, I agree there was no common sense, but if their directive, if they have to wait to be directed by the upstairs third umpire, then
there's an umpire
ridiculous.
within 3 metres.
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. But if
They've stopped games for guys with cramp.
I know, I'm with you. I completely agree with you on that. But I'm just trying to find an argument for the umpires and the fact that do they have to be told? Or
No, they do not. No, they do
can
not.
take it off their own.
100%
bat,
they
can't
can.
they?
Absolutely.
Well, then they have no common sense. Whether they should be dropped or not, then who do they get dropped for?
There's a few little bits about this. Also, at the time, I was concerned about. So he was doing the big "I'm okay, push me away" thing with the doctors.
No, you don't get much tougher than this.
So he's pushing away the medical staff from Collingwood, and then he fell over, and then they had to pick him up again and run him off the ground. When you got concussion, they should have just held him in a bear hug and said, "Mate, you're not going anywhere. Get the stretcher out, run the stretcher out." But clubs are so concerned about the stretcher coming on, and that's a guaranteed 20 minutes. Well, you knew
he was gone, but the arms is pointing straight up in the air.
Yeah, anyway, so there's a lot to play out there, so that's pretty ugly.
The people who are saying, that they should drop the umpires. Well, the umpiring fraternity right now is like West Coast in 2023. They have very few to select from. They don't have many. I'm not sure who they've got.
They have no emergency, so they no longer have an emergency umpire at the games, right? It's 4 umpires, and that's it.
Yeah.
So if a field umpire gets injured, they go to 3. Why can't Thursday night? Say Brett Roseberry is umpiring Thursday night.
Yep.
Why can't Brett Roseberry do the last game on Sunday?
I would have thought that's possible.
Because they clearly do not run as far as they used to because there's 4 of them.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right.
And I'm not so sure umpires run a long way full stop. No, I'm being serious.
Well, but they're fit enough to be able to do it.
But
and if you're right, if you've got Thursday through to Sunday.
They don't sweep up and down the ground.
No, not like
they just
they
umpire a
used to.
zone.
Eddie was on his show talking about putting umpires in a zone so they don't move. Basically, they're in a they move a little bit, but they're stationed around the 4 points of the ground, and they have that zone to deal with, and that's it. So they're not covering so much ground.
Tell me why Justin Longmuir is standing on his digs about the dual ruckman role.
No, I haven't. And I just love a little bit more evidence. Yeah, and love a little bit more time for them to be able to work together. And it's probably the most unfortunate thing if he does miss this week is that it's just another hiccup in their partnership and their ability to work together. Because I haven't lost any confidence in.
Well, that's just the problem.
So there's a lack of confidence. He reckons that it's been.
He hasn't lost any.
He hasn't lost any. The confidence needs to be rebuilt between the two. Why is it so hard to work together? I don't understand that because they're not in the same area at any one time. Their minutes on board would be set.
But what happens is
their rotations would be set.
You've got 2 really, really different players, 2 really, really different ruckmen, and I guess your midfield has to adapt every time that they switch them out as well. So it's harder for your midfield, I guess, to get.
Is Sean Darcy any good as a ruckman? Is Sean Darcy any good?
He's not hopeless.
No,
but he's not their best option. There's no doubt about that. And then they've pulled the wrong rein with a long contract and not so. But the end of the day is like he's lost no confidence. How many? Now I know they've had times where either one or the other's been injured, so they haven't played every game together. But they've played enough together.
They train together.
And they train together, and they've played a lot of games together now. Now Fremantle supporters will tell me the answer to this, but how many times have they played together and it's been a dominant performance by a dual combo ruck? Never. I don't think it's ever worked in any game they've played together.
Do you think selection often, and not just Fremantle, do you think selection often is based on how much a player's getting paid?
No, you'd hope not.
Do you think there's pressure? There's pressure on the
absolutely
on the team.
Well,
selection?
generally you don't pay duds a whole lot of money, so they get a lot more opportunity to get themselves out of a form slump if they're in one. So you don't want a $900,000 a year player playing at Peel Thunder.
Thanks to FOSROC, FOSROC, trusted, knowledgeable industry leaders partner with FOSROC. Great projects start with great partnerships. FOSROC.